Ladies, gentlemen, and people of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, welcome to my Falcon and the Winter Soldier penultimate episode. Can you believe it? We're at episode 5, only one episode left to go, and I hope many of you definitely caught that mid-credits or post-credits scene, because that definitely made me very excited. It looked like we were taking that transformation into US Agent more and more and more, and this kind of raises the bigger question with John Walker really going into US Agent mode, and then Carly and the Flagsmashers still out there, very much so. Yeah, things are really piping up for that final episode to wrap up a bunch of things. But let's get straight into the breakdown today, guys. Of course, if you're going to enjoy this video, let me know by leaving a like on it. And then, if you have any theories or extra little tidbits that you want to talk about in the comment section, I read every single one of your comments, so leave one down in the comment section below. But let's start right at the beginning, of course, with John running. And we saw little flashes of him remembering what he did to the Flag Smasher. And he was more or less just looking at the blood that stained and tainted the legacy of the shield and just dropped to his knees. Very cinematic shots here, absolutely brilliant. There's a lot of good things about these first moments of the episode. We have John kind of in a lot of denial, which kind of kept up all the way throughout the episode, with him telling the parents of Lamar as well, saying that he did kill the right person, which I only think transforms him and drives him to want to still go out there and go after Carly. But it all came down to how are they going to get the shield, take the shield from him, and it ended up, of course, in a fight. And this fight was really cool, to be honest. Like, it's what we've all kind of been waiting for ever since they've been serving that tension up between John Walker, the new replacement Captain America, and Falcon and Bucky. There's several aspects I really liked to this fight. For example, we had moments where Bucky and John were like both having their grips on the shield, yet they're both super soldiers, so they're kind of balanced out with their strength. But even then, moments where Sam had to face John himself, and he's not a super soldier, so we had to kind of like have to be extra careful there. Once again, though, Wyatt Russell, yeah, of course, for the rest of the episode, but also within this fight, absolutely excellent. He's completely kind of lost his mind. You have to really put yourself in the mind space John is in here. A whole bunch of denial, a whole bunch of wanting to still prove himself, because I think that's the main thing that's driving this character. Even more and more as time goes on, the more bad things happen, the more he kind of wants to frame it, and I do get it. It's kind of tragic in a way. It's like, I never intended it to go this way, and I'm still wanting to do right, so I'm still going to go above and beyond to try and prove how I'm not the bad guy, yet it still keeps going very bad. Also, with the serum, it's kind of enhancing the delusional point of views he's got in his mind. And as the episode kind of progresses, that denial and that kind of self-righteous justice, which, as I said, there's many layers to John Walker. It is kind of sad in one way, because things didn't have to go this way. And the more and more people talk about it, up until the point of where obviously he killed the Flag Smasher, not the one responsible for killing Lamar. Don't get me wrong, you can't condone that at all. But he didn't technically do too much wrong before that. He was just a guy constantly trying to prove himself, was getting shunned by Bucky and Sam, and kept doing things by the book. And when he compared himself to that of what Falcon and frickin' Bucky can do, what people with super serum can do, I just really like the way they fleshed out US Agent's long arc, right up until the point where, yeah, for sure now, especially by the end credits, he's getting into a messy field which I don't think he can even see clearly in himself. His vision's completely clouded. And if anything now, to kind of do a little DC Comics character kind of thing to this, it's almost setting up a perfect reverse Flash to Captain America's Flash. Or should I say Sam Wilson's Captain America. It's like he's like the mirror version of it, and I really like where this is going. This had to include some really cool moments as well, such as Falcon literally getting his wings ripped off. This was symbolic because now his wings are gone, and especially with what we see throughout the episode again, he's kind of leaving that behind him. It ends up with John's arm getting completely snapped or dislocated. Something bad happens to his arm. It was pretty brutal, and then Bucky ultimately gives the shield to Sam. Now, of course, Sebastian Stan's and Anthony Mackie's acting here was great, but I still have to give this first part of the episode to Wyatt Russell, because yeah, when he that moment where he's like, I am Captain America, and you just see how scrambled his brain is and how that emotion's being conveyed through his face. It's literally pure pure US agent, like, kind of going crazy. And yeah, absolutely fantastic beginning to the episode. Now, as a result of all of this and how obviously the new replacement Captain America killing a foreign national in public, it is kind of an international incident to the point of where the reins have been taken from Sam and Bucky now, and their free agent kind of situation isn't going to help them resolve this because the government have taken it upon their own hands to really sort this problem out, which I want to know, like, who does the government send in now? Surely Sam and Bucky are still kind of the top people the government would want to use. And around this time as well is when Torres said, hey, but you kind of forgot the wings, as Sam walked away with the shield, and he says, you keep them, which obviously is setting up Torres being the next Falcon, as he is in the comics, and Sam kind of leaving his past behind, leaving the Falcon behind, and literally the wings are being left behind as he walks away with his new mantle to take up the Captain America shield. Now, as I kind of teased, I was worried that after John had kind of been taken out, that might be the end of his story, and it would have been adapted in a US agent kind of way where, yeah, they did a good job, but we're not going to see it go too much further because there's only one episode left. So I thought when the shield had been taken, his arm had been snapped, we weren't going to get too much more from him, but we did, and I'm so happy about that. But yet again, it's kind of making me think, but we've only got one episode left, where are they really going with this? But yet again, I have to stress, I'm over the moon about this, because this is where we got that courtroom scene where John F. Walker got told that he's no longer to act in any capacity as a representative of the US government or its military. He is hereby stripped of his title and authority as Captain America, effective immediately. Now, yet again, I do want to say this, don't get me wrong, he's not a great guy kind of at the moment, especially after what he did. But what I really kind of felt for John in this moment, just like how I tried to say in my last week's review and how the show was humanizing him, like with his conversation with Lamar, talking about the medals of honors that they earned doing terrible things. It's just like in this moment, despite all he's given to the country, yes, I know he's killed someone, trust me, I do. It's just you still feel like, I'm so glad he's not just a one-dimensional crappy character. Like they're giving a lot more to him, so he feels really done wrong in this moment. Obviously he did do wrong, and I can't stress that enough. But when he's trying to present testimony to the circumstances of what happened, he's just being shut down continuously. You can see he's still glitching out a little bit in the stress. The serum's kind of making him a bit more impulsive. He wants to be heard. He screams out saying, I lived my life by your mandates. I dedicated my life to your mandates. And at the end of it, he's just being given an other than honorable discharge with no rank in retirement, and he'll receive no benefits. And as I said, imagine the burn of that after getting 2 or 3 medals of honor or whatever he did after serving in the military. He's a no one now, which is really a big sting. But what I also love about this moment is that it's kind of such a perfect villain setup. Now, you could say that's kind of organically been weaving in the background of his US agent storyline that's been unfolding throughout the past several episodes, but arguably before he killed that Flag Smasher, you could still argue he was trying to do everything in his best ability and power to apprehend the Flag Smashers in the right way. But now you have that situation of where it's kind of this tragic kind of hero gone kind of bad, but inadvertently in kind of a messed up crime or heat of the battle kind of situation. But now you're driving him further into villainy and his conviction to be the new Captain America, and how he thinks he's still Captain America. Yeah, it's almost cliche villainy. And how he even said it to them as well. You made me. I think he said that line, like, you made me. Then they're literally making him right now more into US agent than he possibly could. After he gets up and walks out, they threaten him with spending the rest of his life within the US disciplinary barracks, which could be a foreshadowing, like he still might end up there after episode 6 to return maybe long into the future of the MCU as US agent. Who knows? That's just a random off-the-cuff speculation if he does get apprehended at the end of all of this. But we need to talk about the moment with Valentina de Allegra Fontaine, or should I say Contessa. Now, in the comic books, she has quite a history, whether that's through S.H.I.E.L.D. or the nickname or the title of Madame Hydra or whatever. Like, now people are starting to think, well, what if she is the power broker in this iteration and adaptation, and how, as she said herself to John F. Walker, through him taking the serum, he did the right thing, and thus it has made him very valuable to certain people. Now, I feel like Power Broker's the new Mephisto. I'm not saying she isn't, I'm not saying she is. I just feel like they've got probably quite big plans for her and what she plans to do with him and utilizing him. John probably just wants to feel like he's worth something. And obviously, this is going to go into the US agent version of things and progress nicely along there, I'm sure. I think she's going to be set up to be something that transcends this series. I think, doesn't she even have something or of an appearance in Black Widow, maybe? That's if they keep her appearance in that. With her history in the MCU, it is still a mystery as to how exactly they're going to adapt that. Could this be the start of the Thunderbolts team up? As I said, something to kind of branch its way out further than just the Falcon and the Winter Soldier and what we're getting here. Like, there's so much potential with things and little increments like this that they're introducing into their shows. Obviously, she's like this conniving, almost Disney-like villain. There's something to her. She's like the evil Nick Fury almost, and she leaves that little black card behind. Either way, I would love to know what you guys think they're going to do with Contessa, or should I say Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, or Val. Don't say it, but you can think it. Did she say something like that? One way I would leave this to you, my beautiful viewers, is to think of her probably as Marvel's or the MCU's Amanda Waller. She's most likely going to put together a team, and as she said herself, the best thing or the first best choice you could make is to pick up my calls whenever I do call or something like that. So probably Thunderbolts set up. I don't think she's the Power Broker. That would be a bit too easy. I think they have a whole bunch of other plans for her, and she is, as I said, if you're familiar with DC, Amanda Waller, she's probably that, and she wants John because he is invaluable now after having taken the super serum. So I've gone over this a little bit in the video, but I don't want to drag it out too much more than what we've just been given, what I can tell you about her back history in the comics, where I think they could go with this. I would love to know your thoughts on Contessa. All I can say is that if she's starting up the Thunderbolt or like the team with John, the US agent, first, and we get to see more of Wyatt in the future, because I think he's remarkable and he's like an interesting laid villain. Hell yeah. And I suppose she was meant to be the cameo that lots of people were really, I guess you could say now, blowing out of proportion. I would love to know if you think that this cameo lived up to your expectations. I'm perfectly happy with it, and you can probably tell how excited I am with the prospect of some of the theories and ideas that I mentioned for where they could take her and where she could take other characters moving forward in the MCU. Now, little Baron Zemo, goodbye, my friend, because we see him in Sokovia at the monument. The Wakandans come in, and I guess that's it. This might very well be it. Maybe? I guess it is. Zemo does offer a couple of parting words that Karli has been radicalized beyond salvation and that he kind of needs to do what must be done. And Io comes in and the other Wakandans and says that they'll take him to the raft where he will live out his days. Now at this part of the episode, we get to see Isaiah again, and I knew we'd see him again. I mean, we almost had to. It was too much of a thing to include in those early episodes for it to... Maybe it could have just been left at that, like a cool Easter egg to the super soldier that was never mentioned or never found out about in the past, you know, and that would have been a cool nod, but we saw him again, and this time it's kind of about, now Sam has the shield, he's left the wings behind, a whole bunch of things were said involving racial history. Now obviously with the parting words from Isaiah saying that they will never let a black man be Captain America, and even if they did, no self-respecting black man would ever want to be, that would put Sam off. But then I guess on the other side of things, Sam can realize and might realize that, yeah, but the opportunity for me to be seen with this shield and a whole generation of people out there looking up at me, a black man, equipping the shield of Captain America could mean something very, very powerful. And that was kind of like the next, I would say, like 15 to 20 minutes of the episode. I mean, we got that little cut to Karli and the Flagsmashers and how she was just like, they're not going to stop unless we make them. It's time. So, like, she's planning something big. She's planning something big. But as I said, for the rest of the episode, it was kind of like, you know, going back to his sisters, trying to spend some time figuring stuff out. We had Bucky come. We got cool little montages. All of this was nice stuff. This contained some funny moments, some nice moments. We had Bucky flirting with Sam's sister. And what was this random scene with Sharon? Like, we had that random scene with Sharon offering a job to a guy called Batroc. She said, I can give you double this time. And then we saw that guy. Was that the same guy who went and saw Karli later on? I believe it was. Carly says herself that she got in contact with a guy Sam screwed over a while ago. And was that the guy at the first episode? Like, this stuff's flying over my head. But that has to be the same guy who Sharon was involved with. I don't know, but that part of the episode kind of confused me. But either way, with that new weaponry, Carly's getting more radical with weapons. It is dodgy. It is getting bad. And whatever she plans to do next after blowing up people already, yeah, I don't want to know what it is, but I do. But I don't, but I do. This all comes around the time of when the GRC is voting on the Patch Act, which is, you know, to move millions of refugees back to their current country of origin. Obviously, the Flagsmashers aren't happy about that, so amongst this massive voting situation going on, they're going to make their voices heard more than ever. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, we had Sam practicing with the shield, really starting to embrace it now. Sam gives some tough love advice to Bucky, saying that he needs to do the work. What Bucky was doing before, he thought would bring him closure, but what he really needs to do is make these people feel better, be of service. And he says, I'm sure there's at least one person in that book who needs closure about something, and you're the only one who can give it to them. Well, I think we all know where that's going. I think in that final episode next week, when we're getting close to the credits, we're going to have those typical kind of characters, like moments where they're like, they've already moved on to the next part. Bucky's going to go to Thingy's apartment, already forgot his name, what is wrong with me, and he's going to tell him that he killed his son in that Winter Soldier flashback we got all those episodes ago. Ultimately for Sam though, with the shield and all of these things considered that was said in the episode, he says that what would be the point of all the pain and sacrifice if he wasn't willing to keep standing up and fighting. So we had Sam starting off a bit newbie with the shield throws, but obviously he got to the point of where he looked like it fit him very, very well. Torres, the future Falcon, I guess. Are they going to do it in the MCU? Maybe in the long distant future. Who knows? By the way, he points out to Sam that there's been a ping in New York in terms of the Flagsmashers, and this really was too much of a teaser. We had Sam begin to open the box, the Wakandan box, the little massive briefcase that Bucky gave him, a little favor he kind of called in with the Wakandans, and they have blatantly made him his new Captain America suit. Now, I'm very excited to see this, just because, you know, Wakandans, they had the cool little techie element to their suits that just looks so good. So I'm really, really intrigued to see what Sam looks like in this new Wakandan Captain America suit. It has to be, right? It has to be. I need to see it. God damn it, why did you cut the episode there? But either way, we're going to get more or less a whole featured episode in episode 6 with him in it. Kind of like WandaVision, how we didn't see the Scarlet Witch until the very end. But what about that post-credits scene? The first one in the series so far. So here we saw John Walker, a montage of him making his own shields. I believe he started to smelt, or maybe he didn't smelt the Medals of Honor on there, but he put them on there, nice little touch. He started painting it. This is great. It's basically the forging of the US agent's shield, and I couldn't be happier with that. They wanted to hammer in that he's still going to be there next episode. He's still going to cause trouble. He's now been recruited by Contessa. I guess he doesn't realize quite what he's in for yet. But as I said, she's going to be, I think they've publicly stated as well after this episode, she's going to have, like the MCU has plans for her quite into the future. They wanted to debut her in Black Widow, but because that kept getting pushed back, she's now, I guess, here and before Black Widow. But either way, I can't wait to see what he looks like. I wonder if he's made any additions to his suit, because his suit was already quite US agent, but just obviously quite blue rather than the comic book color, where it's a lot more darker toned. Wonder if he's going to change that up a bit. I guess for now he isn't. He's just going to let the wear and tear do that change to the suit, because he wants to be, and he believes he is, the appointed Captain America. Guys, I'm absolutely stoked. It's a good setup for a final episode. I'm very happy that Wyatt Russell is still here as John Walker, and they're not kind of just doing an adaptation of US Agent and then kind of brushing it to the side. His shield is now Bucky and Sam's. No. We're gonna get, there's a lot to conclude next episode. To the point of where I would almost say I'm slightly apprehensive, just because we've got Carly and all that stuff to get rid of. What's gonna happen to John Walker? I've got a feeling we may get a scene where he's put away, right? As they foreshadowed, like if he you know, continues to like discredit the name of the shield and the government or whatever, they're going to put him in the US disciplinary barracks or whatever. But I think even if that happens, we're going to have a little lady kind of walk along, Contessa, and she's going to get him out of there, and that's where maybe the mid-credit to end-credit scene for next episode. So I'm chucking a couple of predictions in here. Not outright predictions, these are just, to be honest, very off the cuff. But maybe it's that kind of situation where she walks in and is just like, yeah, I'm starting up my own task force sex kind of thing, Thunderbolty kind of thing. I'm getting those vibes. There's a lot to look forward to in this final episode, so I would love to know what you thought of this episode down in the comments below. What are your theories, predictions for the next episode? Who do you think Power Broker is? I'm still suspicious about Sharon. What links does she exactly have? I think it's kind of to the Power Broker, because she just seems to be so plot convenient whenever she's freaking in it right now, to the point of where I think she must be connected to him. Not him, but connected to him, and a bunch of other questions that I just need to shut up about now. So either way, guys, like this video if you did enjoy it, subscribe for more Marvel videos like this, of course. Links, as always, are in the top pinned comment to my social media and other places to support me if you want to do so. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you, people of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in the next video. Goodbye.